What is audit evidence?
Sir, proof something or documentary proof.
Justification.
Very
Documented
good.
proof, yes.
Very good.
Documented, yes.
Quantity of
Proof, or in simple word, a document is one of the type of evidence, right? About the evidence
Yes,
we
sir.
will discuss in detail. How you audit trail? Trail, you know the meaning of trail? Trail means chain, or in other words, the chain. Remember, you sometime you are wearing the chain. So every bead is connected with another bead. For example, tasbih, right? All the beads are connected to
Yes,
make the
sir.
chain. So similarly, audit trail, every point is connected to another point. Every evidence is connected to another evidence. Then you can make the conclusion. If you don't have the audit trail, which means the questions which you are going to ask, then you cannot make the answer. You cannot make the conclusion, right? So when you will be doing the audit, always remember the purpose of your audit is not to find the non-conformity. The purpose of your audit is to make more and more audit trail. When you will be making the audit trail, you will get the non-conformities. You got my point? Focus on positive or natural things, right? Don't go with the negative mind. Just evaluate the requirement according to standard, right? Evaluate the requirement according to standard. When you will be evaluating the requirement according to standard, then you will find that there are some non-conformities also available. So the most important thing in your audit report, especially the third party audit report, is the audit trail. Those of you who are already working in a company which is ISO 9001 certified, tomorrow or whenever they get time, they just take out their audit report, last audit report, and see that how much part of their audit report is comprises of the audit trail, right? And how much part of their report is comprises of the findings. So audit trail is always much more than the findings, because when we will be evaluating these evidences, basically we are doing our audit trail. So when we will be evaluating the evidences and we are going to find some weak areas or gray areas, then we call it that these are our findings or non-conformities. So when we say audit trail, it doesn't mean that all the things are positive. When we say audit trail, it means that some of the evidences are not available. Some of the evidences are partial available. Some of the evidences are full available. So the activities which you are going to do during the audit, the activities which you are going to do during the audit is our audit trail, right? I will show you one example of audit trail in one of the audit report which I prepared long time ago, just to have a clear idea that what is audit trail. Yes, Ali Kishabi, question.
Yes, I remember one of the audit that happened in one company. They start from the beginning or the end of the production. Like they took what to call it, a shipping invoice,
Yeah, yeah.
and take one item and go back with the batch number and go back to the order.
Exactly.
Like this.
So this is what we call, sometimes we call horizontal reverse traceability. Sometimes we call it backward traceability, or forward traceability, and sometimes reverse traceability. Sometimes you start with the order and you finish with the logistics, right? Shipment. And sometimes you take any of the evidence from the shipment and then you trace back. So what is the shipment number, then where it was stored in the warehouse, then from where it was came, when on which date it was produced, who has passed this product, then what were the raw material for this product, and this raw material was purchased from where, and who is the vendor for this raw material. This vendor was a part of our approved supplier list or no, and then who is the customer, what is the customer feedback for this. So we can do our forward traceability, we can do our reverse traceability. In QMS, this is one of the during the audit, one of the requirement that you should see at least 1 or 2 batches as a full traceability. So these all things which you are going to see, basically these are your audit trail, right? So sometimes you will find evidences which are meeting the requirement, compliant with the requirement of ISO, very good, you will write them. Sometimes these evidences are not meeting the requirement of ISO, so you will mention them as a finding, as an observation or a non-conformity, right? So the main important thing when you are doing the audit is to have the source of information. When you have the source of information, then we can gather the data. Once we have too much data available, at the end of the day, we can compile this data and we can conclude our findings. But if we don't have the data available, then how we are going to compile this and how can we make our findings? So once you have source of information available, then you will filter out to make the information. When we say information, which means that this information is useful for me or this information is useful for this audit or no. For example, sometimes it happens that we are going for a QMS audit or you are going for a quality audit and you will find some issues of health and safety. So this is one of the source of information that you are getting the information that the people or the staff who are working there, they are not following the requirement of health and safety. But now we need to filter out this information. When we are going to filter out this information, we come to know that my information should be related to the QMS, not because I'm here to perform the audit of QMS, not health and safety. So you can suggest that, okay, please ask your people to use the PPEs, but this cannot be raised as a major or minor non-conformance because you are not doing the audit of health and safety. So once you have the sources of information available, then you need to filter out this information. Once you are going to filter out this information, then you will get the evidences. How you will get the evidences? For example, I was doing the audit for one of the workshop as an auditor, and during the audit, I make one finding, for example, that your lathe machine operator does not know about the weekly inspection of lathe machine as required by SOP. Okay, this is one of the finding, for example, the competence issues. So the manager, workshop manager who was sitting there, he asked me, okay, which of the workshop have you gone through? Because we have 3 workshops. I told, I think the one which is at the corner. Okay. So which of the operator was there? I think the guy having, clean shift. They told that we have 3 operators of lathe machine which are having clean shift. So what happened that I have the information, but my information is not the sufficient information to make it as an audit evidence. So now I cannot raise the finding. Instead of raising the finding, I will get embarrassed in front of my auditee, right? That this auditor did not collect a good audit trail, so he is not be able to conclude his finding and raise any of the non-conformance or observation. So sources of information, for example, we have workshop is one of the source of information. So, and then filter out more this information at lathe machine, an operator who is not following the requirements of SOP which are mentioned for operating of lathe machine. Now I need to check if this information is needed for my standard or no. If it is meeting my standard criteria, then this is okay. For example, I have seen that the operator is not wearing the PP. Similarly, the operator does not have the competence to perform the inspection of lathe machine on weekly basis, which is one of his responsibility. So now the information which I get about PP, again, filter out. This was the information, but this cannot be my audit evidence because I am doing the audit for QMS. But the information about the competence that this driver, this operator does not have the competency to perform the inspection, it is my audit evidence, because ISO 9000 standard clause number 6 required that the people who are performing the job, they must be competent enough for this activity, right? So this is my audit evidence. Now, when you have audit evidence available, compare this audit evidence with the clause. If it is really a need of clause or no. If you think that yes, it is a requirement from the clause, it is shall, right, or it is should, then we need to raise as a finding. When we raise as a finding, after that we are going to make the audit conclusion. So if we don't find that it is a requirement of shall, we cannot raise a non-conformity. If it is not a requirement of should, we cannot raise as an observation. So this is very necessary to have the audit finding. What are audit finding? We will discuss in next slides. So on the basis of our audit finding, we make the conclusion that if the company is complying with the requirement or no. Clear? This is how, as an auditor, we are doing the audit. Yes, Ali Kishab.
No, by mistake.
Okay. Audit evidence. So now you can see the audit evidence. There are 4 things which are important for the audit evidence: record, statement of fact, and other information, which are relevant to the audit criteria and verifiable. This definition we have taken from where? ISO 19011-2018 version. So the audit evidence is being defined as record, for example, report, for example, inspection record, for example, production report. Statement of fact. What does it mean? You are taking the interview. Statement of fact. If person does not have the competence or he is not fulfilling the requirement of quality management system while you are doing the interview with him, which means that this can also be considered as a audit evidence. So the statement of fact, record, and other information. Other information, which means that the information which you are going to see when you are going on site visit, there are many information which you are going to see. If these requirements does not follow the requirements of QMS, then we can say that this could be your audit evidence. But keep in mind these 3 things when you are doing this. It's very important that this should be relevant to audit criteria. What is audit criteria? We will discuss in the next slide. And verifiable, right? Verifiable, lazim, verifiable. As I told you, if these are not being verified, these cannot be verified, you will be embarrassed in front of auditee. Always remember one thing, that in cricket we have benefit of doubt when we are playing cricket, right? In Asian countries, cricket is very popular. In Arabs, football is very important and popular also. So in cricket we have benefit of doubt. In cricket, the rule is that the benefit of doubt will always go to the batsman. So similarly in audit, the rule is the benefit of doubt will always go to the auditee, not to the auditor. So you as an auditor, you have big responsibility. You cannot write anything for which you are 200% sure. If you are 200% sure, then only you will raise it as a finding, then you will write it as a non-conformance. If you are not sure, you are not be able to verify it completely, you can raise it as a concern, or you can raise it as a observation, or you can discuss with them, okay, due to lack of timing, I'm not be able to verify this requirement completely. Please look at within your internal systems. So at least they will see. Yes, Ali, question.
In case of statements of fact, you said that when you interview someone and you say they are not competent, how can I prove this one? Is it allowed that we use maybe video record or sound record? Or what is the evidence
as
that
a good
I can
practice?
use here?
Yeah, I got your point. As a good practice, 90% of the auditors, third-party auditors, they always keep one representative from the company with them all the time, right? So if they have, because they don't know about your company, they don't know about your people, where they have to go. So when they are at the site visit, they always keep one of the company representative with them. So in case wherever the findings or the things which are coming from the interview, and we see that this could be a non-conformance or finding, we discuss it twice. For example, are you sure that this is not the practice? Yes, yes, I'm sure this is not the practice. Then you say, okay, but according to this SOP, you have to do this, right? So when you are doing the interviews, sometimes you also involve that representative with you, that Mr. Ali, please see that is it the same thing which he is describing? Then he might say, no, this is not the thing. The SOP is something different, and the person who is going to tell you it is a different thing. So in this case, you are having one person with you that who knows everything. But recording or movie, it's not allowed, or it is not a good practice in the third party audit. But in second party audit, in the supplier audit, we make the pictures because we have to send this to the clients. Yes, Mr. Arshad.
To find findings, normally you are studying their in-house SOPs as well as
Yes. Audit criteria, we are coming to audit criteria, so you will know what is audit criteria.
Okay, sir.
Okay, the audit evidence, it comes, or the information will come from four things: people, what people are doing, what are the competence level of people, how people are doing, are the people doing according to the requirement of their SOPs or the standard or the legal requirement or no. So you will see, you will discuss with the people, you will see the process. You cannot see the process unless you will go on site. So that's why during the audit, on-site visit is one of the mandatory requirement. So see the processes, how the process are being followed, from starting from marketing up to the dispatch process. See if the process is under control, if the monitoring and measurement is controlled, if the process is going to have the product which is coming out of the process, it is meeting the requirement of conformance or not meeting the requirements of conformance, if it is meeting the requirement of rejection and passing criteria or no, how the equipment which are being used in the process, their maintenance, preventive maintenance activities are being carried out, how the gauges and other meters which are being used to measure the product for the conformance or non-conformance, how they are going to make be the calibrated, who is going to make the calibration, the person who are doing the calibration, what is their level of competence, equipment, tool, material, you will see their record, you will see their performance. So everything which is involved, and finally the record, which means documentation, you will see the SOPs, you will see the work instructions. So Mr. Arshad, now you will get the idea, so that we have to see people, we have to see process, we have to see equipment, tool, material, and we have to see the documentation. Your audit cannot be in one room. You cannot say that I will be sitting in one room and discussing the people and looking after the file and my audit will be completed. No, your audit cannot be completed unless you talk with the people, you take the interviews with the people, you are not going on site to perform the processes.
One thing I want to discuss here. Sir, if there is an issue of manpower, because if many responsibilities are full by only one or two people, the three people, then during audit, you suggest that because of manpower shortage, you are facing these problems.
No. These administrative issues are not our issues. We will highlight the issue, right?
Okay.
We will highlight that the problem, we will highlight that this process is having lacking of this thing which are required by ISO or your own SOP. Then when you will be doing as an auditee root cause analysis, you will mention that this is due to the manpower.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Or we will be issuing the concern or the finding against the competence of the people. We can raise the finding against competence of the people, that the people who are performing the job, they are not meeting the requirement of competence which is required by this process. So
and
then
sir,
After that,
Okay.
when you will be doing the root cause analysis, then
Okay.
you will be mentioning that.
In ISO 9001, whether they have mentioned that one person can fulfill 3 responsibilities, 4 responsibilities, 8 responsibilities, or like that, there is mention for every people number of responsibilities.
No. You have to make many responsibilities for one person. No problem.
Okay.
You have to make him responsible for the responsibilities for which he is capable. Right? Yalla. Let's go to the workshop. Workshop number 5. Remember yesterday we discussed about wetland. So now you are going to prepare yourself to perform the audit of wetland company. So using the same case study, right? Just write some evidences which you are going to see while you are going to perform the audit. You got my point?
You got your point? We will be using the same
case
one.
study. Yeah, exactly. Yesterday, the case study of wetland, 1 page only. So from the basic information, you have to see that what are the things which I'm going to see. And for this workshop, you will also see your handout, learner guide. You will find that what you are going to see in detail. For example, I will open your learner guide. There is some mention about the clauses, that which of the clauses you have to see. Open your learner guide and open the page number
67.
Which one?
67. Workshop number 4.
No, workshop number 5. We are at workshop number 5. Workshop number 5 is the audit 81. Learner guide, page number 81. So you will be finding what you are going to do when you will be doing the internal audit process. How the implementation of quality policy objective and management commitment is there. An organization purchasing process, competence of sales staff and management review. Provide detail of possible evidences that could be available in order to show that these processes meet the requirement of ISO 9001. You got my point or no?
Actually, I haven't got it.
What
Again,
about
please.
others? Are you on page number 81 or no?
Yes,
All of you.
Yes, I am.
All of you are on page number 81 or no?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the workshop number 5 or no?
Yes.
Can you see now? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Read the case study background information, which means the same case study which you have read yesterday. And develop an audit trail. Remember, I told you need to ask some question. When you will be going for the audit, what you will do there? You will be asking some question. You will be verifying some requirement. So what will be these requirements? Take the requirements from internal audit. When you will be going to wetland company and you have to do the audit for their internal audit requirement or internal audit process, what you are going to see? Write those things. When you will be looking their policy, objective and management commitment, what evidence as an auditor would you like to see? Just write it. When you will be looking their purchasing process, what you would like to see in this purchasing process? Just write some questions. When you will be looking the competency of sales staff, what are you going to see? Just write some questions. When you will be evaluating their management review process, what are the evidence would you like to see? So now you have to make audit trail, which means audit questions. You have to make audit questions.
Become an auditor.
Yes, now you will be the auditor. Remember yesterday you were auditing. Now you are auditor.
Okay.
Write some questions. Everyone got this point or no?
Yes.
Yes.
10 minutes and then we will take break after discussion. Fast guys, fast. At least two evidence from each clause. When I remember, I told you how to find the questions, how to find the requirement. Just pick the keyword. It is saying about internal audit. Go to the internal audit clause and find 2 questions. Very easy. I can find 10 questions from internal audit. When it says purchasing process, go to the clause of purchasing process. Find the answers. Find the questions. When it says competence of people, go to the clause number 6, competence. You will find the questions. Anyone having any problem? Just raise your hand. Session number 4 and now onwards all the session, we will be focusing more on the auditing, because as you know that this is a lead auditor course, which means the focus will be more on the auditing side. After understanding of standard, we are now focusing on the auditing. So in this session number 4, we will discuss about audit definition, principle of auditing, and types of auditing. It's a very short, session, and we will finish it before Maghrib. So after 40 minutes, we can take another break for Salah. Right? So by the end of this session, we will be understanding the definition of auditing, the principle of auditing, purpose and difference between stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 audit, and first party, second party, and third party audit, the need for auditor confidentiality, and so on. So when we say audit, what do you understand by the audit? Don't read the definition, explain in your words. Yes, Mr. Rushdie.
We have to verify the
Okay.
system.
Okay, can I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay, my understand for audit, this is like verification to ensure that the intended policy and the requirement are achievable, and we can achieve whatever we plan for. We can achieve it, and we take and we make all processes required to reach this result. So we have to verify we can do or not.
Okay, good. Yes, Arshad Mahmood.
Sir, already share standard that may be internal or international standard. They have mentioned in their policies. The company has mentioned in their policies whether they are following these standards and these internal documentations or no. Systematic things, and we have to check and we have to give input, output, conformity, non-conformity, like that, sir.
Very good. Can we say that when we are checking these standards, we are going to focus that how much up to how much extent they are following the standard?
Yeah.
Then
yes.
when you say that we are checking if they are following or not following, definitely they are following. That's why we are doing the audit for them, right? But
Yes, sir.
we will check in the audit that up to how much extent they are following. If
And
they are
for
following
all
100%, 90%, 70%, whatever it is.
and for all these standards, their focus is end customer. That is customer desire, customer needs, their intention, their focus is customer.
Very good, very good. Any other documentary proof? Very good, Masood.
Yes, sir.
As per standard, yes, the things are going on or not going on, as Mr. Abdul Wahab said. As per standard, the things are going on or not going on. Very good. So when we say audit, there is a difference between audit and inspection. Can anyone tell me the difference between audit and inspection? Any inspector available here?
Yes. Can I participate?
Yes, please.
Audit is based on the evidence.
Okay, audit based on the evidence. Yes, Mr. Rushdie.
Inspection is based on the activity, physical activity we are doing to verify the product is within tolerance or out of tolerance, for example. But audit is the system, we verify, we follow the system to achieve the requirement or not. System.
Very good. When we say inspection, it is done for certain activity. It is done for certain equipment. And the result is pass or fail. There is no between these things. But in audit, we are going to see if the process to perform this activity or the process to perform this services is going to meet its requirement or not going to meet its requirement. In audit, there is no such criteria for pass or fail, right? Rather, you have the criteria for observations, non-conformities. And for observation and non-conformities, you are going to give them a certain timeline on which they can improve their system. As Mr. Adil said, evaluation of processes of the organization with objective evidence. Very good, very good. So now we can see that definition which is being defined by ISO 19011, which is our main standard for the auditing activity. Systematic must be systematic. It is not something that I wake up in the morning and since I don't have anything to do, yalla, let's go and perform the audit. So audit will always be a systematic approach. You will start by trail. You will start with the trail. It's not like you are going to perform the audit and you can ask any question. No, systematic. You are doing the audit of one management system or two management systems at a time. So you will be focusing on those management systems. So audit is, so first thing is a systematic. Independent. Independent mean no stake. You cannot perform your own audit, right? Even if you are alone in the company who has the competence to perform the audit, still you cannot perform the audit of yourself. Independent. Independent of any concern, independent of any profit and loss, independent of any decision making. The process of auditing, if it is internal auditing or if it is second party auditing or if it is third party auditing, there should be no stake. This audit should be an independent activity. If you are going to pass or you are going to fail, there should be no stake for me. I don't have any benefit with your audit. So my job is to perform audit, to evaluate the system and write the report and present the report. So audit is the systematic, independent and documented process. Very, very important that audit is a documented process. For example, you are going to perform the audit, internal audit of any organization or any of your department, and you will ask them, okay, what is your system for internal audit? They told that we have done twice internal audit in last year. And you will ask them, now the next question you are going to ask them, okay, please show me the internal audit reports. And they said, sorry, we don't have internal audit reports because our people are all competent and they meet all the requirement of standard. Is it acceptable or not acceptable? Yes, not acceptable because internal audit should be a documented process. So where is the documentation? How do I know that this activity has been carried out or not carried out? It is a requirement of Shell. And then what we will be doing in the audit? Obtaining objective evidence, or you can say simple evidence. I told you in previous slide that when you are going to perform the audit, your main goal is to collect objectives. The more objective evidence you will have, the more audit conclusion will be easier. But if you have very less
evidences or objective evidences, then conclusion of your audit will be very difficult for you. After getting the evidence, what we will be doing? We will be doing evaluating it objectively or independently. Evaluating it, we will evaluate if it is meeting the requirement of standard or not meeting the requirement of standard. And when we will be evaluating, then what will happen? To determine the extent to which audit criteria are fulfilled, we will come to know that how much percent or how much extent the requirements of audit criteria are going to fulfill or not fulfill. What is audit criteria? What is audit criteria? Anyone?
The
It's
approved
a
documents.
set of policies
System.
and procedures of requirements used as a reference against which objective evidence is
Very good.
prepared.
For example, ISO 9001 standard. For example, your company own policies, procedures. For example, your legal requirement. Okay, these are all our
The
audit
audit plan
criteria.
considered as audit criteria?
Sorry,
The audit plan.
audit plan. Yes.
It's part of the criteria, Mr.
No. Audit plan is not the
Standard.
audit plan is only the document for auditing purpose,
Okay.
but it is not the part of audit criteria. Audit criteria, when we are conducting the audit, we will be conducting the audit against certain criteria. This criteria is our ISO standards. This criteria is company own policies and procedure, and this criteria is the legal requirement. So these are the three main criteria under which you will be doing the audit for any of the management system. Different audits have different criteria. For example, when you will be doing the second party audit, your audit criteria will be the customer requirement, customer specification. For example, when Aramco, SABIC, Saudi Electricity is doing your audit as a vendor, so they are verifying your requirement according to their standard. So for them, ISO is not the audit criteria. For them, the policies, procedure of Aramco, SABIC or Saudi Electricity, they are the criteria for you. So we have to do audit against certain criteria. So audit definition is what?
The voice is not clear.
Sorry?
Your voice is not clear.
Okay. Now I will speak very closely. So audit is a systematic, independent and documented process for obtaining objective evidence. The main job is to find the objective in the audit. And once you find the objective, now evaluating it objectively, independently to determine how much the criteria requirements are going to be met or fulfilled. If the criteria requirements are fully compliant, very good. If there are some requirements which are not going to fulfill completely, or there are some gray areas or there are some weak areas, we will be raising them as a concern, right? Audit criteria is your audit standard, ISO 9001 standard. Audit criteria is the company own policies and procedures. Audit criteria is the legal requirement, right? These three things are your audit criteria.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So when we are dealing with the auditing, which means that we have to understand some requirements of 19011, because this is the standard who is going to define who is going to give us the guidelines for the auditors. What are these things? Principle of auditing. What are the principle of auditing? What criteria we have to follow all the time? How to manage an audit program, conducting an audit, and competence and evaluation of auditors. These all points are being described by ISO 19011 standard. So we will be discussing these things in our next slides.
We need to read this 19011.
No need to read this. Those things which are important in 19011, as far as this course is concerned, these are being described here in the course itself.
Okay. Thank you.
So now we will be making again, we will be dividing you guys into the groups. If you go to your learner guide, you will find principle of auditing in detail, right? Can anyone tell me the page number?
86.
Very good. Page number 86, you will find principle of auditing in detail. So the group number 1, whatever will the group number 1, they will be discussing about integrity, fair presentation, due professional care, right, and confidentiality. 4 points for group number 1. The group number 2, which I will make, they will be discussing about independence, evidence-based approach, and risk-based approach. So what you are going to do with these principles, you will be finding the importance and the impact. What is the importance of integrity during the audit? And what will be the impact on the audit if we are not following this principle, right? Everyone has got the point? Yes, guys.
Yes, sir.
So is it clear? Group 1 and group 2?
So the same group last time you
No,
have
no,
done?
I will make the group now. What I'm saying, just understand. What I'm saying, just understand. I will make the group now. So whoever will be in group 1 and group 2, they will be discussing about the principle of auditing. And when they will be discussing about principle of auditing, each principle you have to define its importance and the impact. If this principle is not followed, then what will be the impact and what is the importance of this principle? While the group 3 will be discussing about the types of audit. First party, which is internal audit, second party, which is supplier audit or vendor audit, and the third party, which is also an external audit, right? So types of audit. Yes, guys, please make it your silent. So we need to discuss group number 3. Whoever will be the group number 3, they will be discussing the objective and definition of each type of audit. Okay, what is the definition of first party audit and what is the objective? What is the purpose of this audit? What is the purpose of second party audit and the definition of second party. Please make your mute guys, please. Okay, now I'll make the breakout groups so you can do this activity very quickly. Yes. Breakout group number 1, Abdul Wahab, Dia Faraj, Ibn, Farooq, Masood, Umair Mukhtar. Breakout group number 2, can you see the... Yes, guys, can you see your groups? Please accept your group.
Yes, yes.
Breakout group number 1, Abdul Wahab, Dia, Faraj.
Can you let me group 2 as yesterday?
You want to go to group number 2?
Yeah, yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay, in group number 2, we have Ali Al-Shahri, Arshad, Azmatullah, Bandar, Dia Faraj, Mahmood Rushdi, and Azmatullah. In group number 3, we have Adil Hassan, Ali Kishavi, Arshad Mahmood Mazin, Rahat Khan, Sayyid Abdul Aziz. I need to move. Yes,
sir, what is, excuse me, sir?
Ji, sir.
Adil here. So what are the requirement for group 3? Means types of audit we have to discuss and what means.
Yes, you need to discuss about the definition of each type of audit.
Okay.
And the objective. When I say objective, which means the purpose of the audit. What is first party audit and what is the purpose of first party audit? What is second party audit and what is the purpose of second party audit, right?
Okay.
Every group is clear? Yes, group number 1, clear about your assignment? You have to discuss 4 principles: integrity, fair presentation, due professional care. Group number 1. Yes, group number 1. Are you clear about your assignment? Number 1. Are you clear about your assignment?
Yes, sir. Importance and impact.
Very good. 4 principle only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Okay, sir.
ये 86 में पेज नंबर पे है ना सब?
जी, page number 86. Yes.
So are you clear about your objectives? About your assignment? Last 3 principles. You have last 3 principles. Group number 2, can you hear me?
Yes, Engineer Anas, but I cannot see anything. Cannot see anything.
Cannot see anything. No, you have the principle available in your learner. Is it clear now? You have 7 principle, right?
It's the screen is so small.
Yeah, it will be big now. Clear? So you have to discuss about independence, evidence-based approach, and risk-based approach.
Yes.
In these 3 principles, you will find out the importance of these principle, each principle, and impact of each principle. Why this principle to follow is important, and if we are not going to follow this principle, what will be the impact on audit, right? Okay. Thank you. Yes, group number 3, clear about your?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have to use another paper. Okay, you need to use another page.
But it's already defined, and the objective.
Yeah, so
the purpose, everything is defined in the Habibi, everything is defined in your learner guidance, but the purpose is that you all guys should read and discuss. Then give us the presentation in your own words, not the copy paste. Okay?
Okay. So what we will do now?
first party is internal audit, okay, by his own organization, and second party is by the organization in second party audit.
Definition and purpose. Definition and
purpose. Okay.
I'll get to you.
Yes, okay. It will be summarized. You will summarize it.
Okay.
Objectives, stability of supplier, supplier status.
Jaldi.
Status. Okay.
10 minutes only. I will take the feedback at 6:25.
6:25. Okay. So
yes, guys, I will take the feedback at 6:25. 6:25. I will take the feedback. Okay. Fast. Yes, guys, I will take the feedback at 6:25. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fast. Copy paste. Only copy paste. Also discuss. Copy paste. I can do copy paste much better than you.
कहाँ चले गए यार? ये कहाँ चले गए? ये बाहर आते हैं.
Mr. Masood, ये point, please let me know the point in importance.